Ooh! We are live, guys. I'm J1 Further the Cyber Nerds.
Revenue GS.
Mr. Blitztech.
And today we're talking about Season 3, Episode 6, Chapter 22 of The Mandalorian. Now, if you want to be part of our universe, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hitting the thumbs up, and press the notification bell so you get notified every time we drop a banger. Also, heading over to patreon.com/The Cyber Nerds. You can watch our full reaction to the full episode of this and every other episode of The Mandalorian ever made. Now, this episode, one of the things I want to talk about this episode is I really like what they've done with the show. Yeah, like generally we talk about how good Mandalorian is. Yes, fire, blah blah. But I really like, and I think that they made a misstep with. We've spoke about before about the Book of Boba. The Book of Boba should have been called The Mandalorian Season 2.5. Definitely, because I feel like this whole season is about Bo-Katan in it. And they got Din Djarin standing there, but he is a supporting character at best to her every episode. Now, it's like it's happening to both of them, but it's really happening to her. Do you know what I'm saying? And I love the way they framed it. And I love that the show is called The Mandalorian. Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like in the beginning, they were like, we're going to call it The Mandalorian and we're going to have to focus on Din. Do you know what I'm saying? They focused on Din so heavily that I think that some people at this point might be feeling like, what is this show? Do you get what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Yeah, and it does make sense from how they positioned it and from what they called it and what they gave us.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think we're actually getting into the real stride of the show, where it's like, we are just focusing on the Mandalorian, who is a Mandalorian, or could potentially be the Mandalorian, because the name of The Mandalorian was the name of the person who ruled, or the Mandalorian who ruled Mandalore. That's what their title was, the Mandalorian. Do you know what I'm saying? So I love that they've got this, like, we're actually getting our way there. Do you get what I'm saying? So that was just general world stuff that I wanted to talk about, because I think that they have transitioned us from Justin on his own and Grogu into a larger world and also like almost a new main character. And like, for me, since the beginning of the season, I've been supporting Bo-Katan more than I've been supporting Dan. And the only reason I bring it up is because I think like they have presented it to us very well.
Yes.
And even with like all the prior knowledge man's got of Bo-Katan and all of that, I'm an easy sell for her. Do you know what I'm saying? So I really want to know from like other people, obviously not from you two, because you man are very much in it, but like you guys watching, like if you haven't watched Clone Wars, Rebels and all that other stuff and you haven't got deep Mandalorian knowledge, like, how are you feeling about them? Do you know what I'm saying? Like Bo-Katan taking more of a central role in the show. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I know it's going to rub some people up the wrong way, but I just love the character. She's so good. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would add to everything what you're saying that this is also the rise of Mandalore.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Because and this is the thing about this, the specific things that I liked about this episode, which was a calm episode with gems, and even from the previous episode. Is like we're adding all these things that's gonna help Mandalore rise. One, allies, very important. This is the second planet. This is your second ally. Secondly, Bo-Katan going to get other Mandalorians. Do you know what I mean? And the Mandalore, like the Mandalorian, bro, it's one, it's many, it's everything. Do you know what I mean? It includes the planet, it includes the animals that come with it. It comes with the culture. The past, the present, what's for the future. So, bruv, like you said, what they've done with this show is nuts.
Yeah, man. And even with that, like, I love how deep they've taken it, because I know that lots of people don't know about, like, that history of Mandalore in terms of, like, who the actual race was that started it and then how they went forward. And that's why, like, Bo-Katan, and this is why I've always been a supporter of Bo-Katan, bro, because she, like, her position is a position of, like, I just want you, man, to come together. And I understand that I might have to do this, break this rule, and we're talking about rules, but it's like old guidelines. I know a new thing has to be forged to bring us together, and I love that the armorer knows it's her, and Din Djarin's not even beefing the situation. He's like, he's never wanted it, but he's also honourable enough to understand when it's someone's, it's theirs, bruv. And I love the fact that even though I'm gonna say it's a loophole, what's not a loophole, it is legitimacy in terms of why she owns the saber. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I really think that as a collective, they should be handling the situation, and maybe they will still. But if they want to have her to have the saber, so it can unite these people, the same way they want her to have her mask on and off to unite those people.
I think they've already done that with her.
No, they have. This is what I'm saying. But with the sword, they legitimately did it today. Okay. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because the people were there, and the deciding factor on whether they was going to follow her or not was whether she had the saber, even though she had won the battle. And that's what I'm saying. It's like they're making her more flexible in every situation, so that she can appeal, like bring everyone together. And that is what I really like about it. And that's why, even though I don't want her to have the dark saber, I accept her having it, because it just makes sense that if this faction of Mandalore's only going to follow you with the sword, have the sword. If this faction needs to see your face, let them see your face. And if these man need to have you have the mask on, let us have an understanding on why the mask can come off. Do you know what I'm saying?
Both worlds.
Exactly. But even moving past that, bro, because I don't feel like, obviously Bo-Katan can't reign forever. But even if all of these rules come together to make the new rule for the person who beats Bo-Katan, I'm with that. So let's say Bo-Katan loses the Darksaber in combat. Then maybe she's got to put her helmet on forever now. And because she's not a ruler anymore. Right. And the next person now has the ability to take their helmet off and address people. Like, I love the merger of one culture that's fractioned off, that's coming back to make all of these rules the rules for their new leader. Do you know what I'm saying? And, bruv, it's beautiful to even see, like, it's like we're seeing a culture be born. Do you know what I'm saying? And bruv, it's so legit, bruv. Like,
and that's what I like about the future, that they're reconstructing for these men, because, like you said, like, it's just being flexible with everything. Bruv, we not even have Grogu, like, amongst them. I'm pretty sure that's never happened before, having a different species amongst them. Do you know what I mean? So, and he's a Force user as well, which in the past was their enemy.
I mean,
that's deep.
It is legit that he's there. They do have other species, but that's what I was talking about in terms of them going out and getting other races, because before, like, their race, the actual Mandalorian race, was going extinct, and they was like, we have to go get more people. And this is why in the last episode they was bringing the animals back, and they was going to teach them in the way. So them taking other species has always been a thing, but I want to see who they recruit next. Like, if this recruiting journey continues on, we're only getting, like, humanoids. If you get what I'm saying, like, they haven't, like, when they first showed up with the calamari people on the ship, I was thinking, like, oh, this is who he was pulling up, this is who he was going to recruit, but it didn't turn out that way. So I want to see if we do go to, like, any other full-on off, like, different species and recruit them. You get me? So interesting, man.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But I don't think they would at this point in time. The way they're just saying, we're just trying to rebuild Mandalore, so anyone that was on Mandalore that's now kind of
coming back. Yeah,
bring them more back. Like I say, Bo-Katan being the one to do that. I've always had a negative connotation about Bo-Katan.
Come on.
So that's why it's not interesting the way they're, like, redoing her character, like saying, like, that's me. Like, I'm not too deep on it. That's what I'm saying.
It's just perspective, bro.
It's perspective, and that's why I feel like Book of Boba have kind of failed. Well, this is, for me, is kind of succeeding, because, like, I wouldn't be too tough on Din taking the backseat that we're following for 2 seasons, especially that also he's buddy copying with her in this episode or this season so far. Like, that's not removing us being, like, it was almost like we're in Din's shoes at this point.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it through his eyes, and we're like, oh, we're understanding. Where if he was just removed from the situation, we're following Bo-Katan, I'm like, then I would have some kind of contentions, like, right, like,
100%.
You just put her in the front seat, like, it's almost like it will be Din in Boba's shoes all over again.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're just following that. I'm like, do I want to see Bo-Katan? But the fact that we're like Din, we're like seeing the mythosol, we're seeing her saying, oh, you can walk both ways. We're seeing her saying, oh, you've held the saber, and now it's been explained that he got beat by this person, that this person now, Bo-Katan now beat as well, that she can now hold the black saber. That the fact that it's all being explained, especially through, let's say, the audience's eyes, I'm like, it is actually kind of deep. And the fact that she's, like I was saying, before I was kind of negative on her stance of, let's say, the rule of Mandalore, but the way she's taken it in, and the information they're saying being reconstructed as a new culture, is actually quite deep.
No, and this is why I say that the Book of Boba failed, yeah? Because if the Book of Boba was called The Mandalorian, we would have had two seasons with Din.
Yeah.
We would have went to Boba for 4 episodes, where 2 episodes were Mandalorian episodes. And if this was almost then standalone Bo-Katan, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't be having this conversation at all. We'd just be like, bruv, season 4, hey, Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
But like, we had Din,
and now,
we had Boba, now we got Bo-Katan. But they've done it in a way where it's like, well, we can leave out the Book of Boba and just go to here. Do you know what I'm saying? Which I feel like Boba Fett's getting a short end of the stick. But from what they did to the series, it's kind of working out for the best. Do you know what I'm saying? And I really hope that he can get brought back later and better than they did him in the Book of Boba. Do you know what I'm saying? But love that. We didn't even start talking about the episode, bro. Get me?
But this is the thing, like, in a ways, we are talking about the episode. Because, like, even you guys talking about, like, with Bo-Katan and stuff, to me, it's like, Din is just the catalyst to this whole journey of the Mandalorians. And this is why it works well, like, at least for me, when I sit back and watch, like, I don't see Din taking a backseat or anything like that. Because it's almost like the team understood that you are not the superhero of this thing. You're just a driving force that's going to get people in together. And then, but then, due to the laws and cultures of things, you cannot be the main guy. Also, almost that kind of flex. Do you know what I mean? So I enjoy what they're doing with both of these characters. And on this episode, them two kind of working together, but at the same time, kind of like butting heads. I like that because not everything is always going to go smooth, and we don't always have to see things eye to eye, especially when we come from 2 different places.
Yeah, I love Din's whole droid hate coming out in this episode, man. Super legit, him over there just kicking the battle droids. I love what they did with that as well in terms of just like some of the battle droids acting up. And see, I really thought that they was gonna go deep into some of these battle droids are turning set, because obviously it's always been a thing in Star Wars, like the racism to battle droids. So it's like having some of the Imperial droids being reconfigured for peace and almost having do you know what I'm saying? Their circuit board then frying and being like, no, peace. And then them going rogue, I thought was a sick thing that they could have like thrown in. But they just went with, you know, one of the generals is pretty much corrupting them to do other stuff. I hear it, fam, bro. Yeah, there's always people doing crud underneath someone somewhere doing something. Like, so.
And I like that his views and beliefs that ties all the way to Count Dooku. Yeah. That was actually pretty spicy the way they connected those 2 things.
No, I love it as well because that even ties into kind of stuff Sam's talking about in terms of like how we feel about Count Dooku, how the universe feels about Count Dooku, and just people in general. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Count Dooku is fighting for the separatists. Like he wants to be, no, everyone be independent, everyone do your own thing. The galaxy, look, these men are tyrants, these men are rebels. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So there are going to be supporters of that, and I'm not mad at them supporters as well. It's just like everyone's on their own thing. So, and we're still fighting. We're dealing with the remnants of everything. Do you know what I'm saying? Remnants of the Empire, separatists, Jedis, Mandalorians. Like everyone's like the galaxy's actually just in shambles right now, bro. It's just in shambles, bro. It's like almost no one's got peace. No one's like, everyone's just trying to find a new way again, bro. And it's just, I love the way they're bringing it together, man. Get me? I really did like the fight between Bo-Katan and her old and the new commander of the Mandalorians, fam. And like, listen, I really believe that they've got to definitively put out something about Mandalorian culture or bone density or something, bro. Because I've been saying this for time. I feel like Mandalorians with the male and females, like, I feel like their bone density should be exactly the same. And this is why these fights happen like this. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like it just don't make sense to me when we're watching it. Because Bo-Katan isn't out skilling man or out maneuvering man. Do you know what I'm saying? They fight exactly the same. And I'm cool with that. But like physics and physics. So your Star Wars, so change the physics and it's fine. And because it's something that's never been touched on before, who can beef you on it? Do you know what I'm saying? So
solidified that mythology.
yeah, bruv. I think that's something you should definitely do, bruv. Yo, Mandalorian male and female bone densities are exactly the same, and this is why they are the perfect warrior culture. It's done in one line. It's done. It's done. There's no no one screaming. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's gonna be man crying. Bruv.
You even saw in the previous season where that girl flipped my round.
Yeah, and I was just, bruv, and even that, I did, see, when I went back to watch that, I didn't like that. Because it's like, yo, we've got big man Boba. Yo, big man Boba, bruv. It's not even just that he is legitly a large man. It's the fact that it's Boba Fett.
Yeah,
and the second in command, or her sidekick at that time, who is the new commander's sidekick, which would make her the third removed sidekick from Bo-Katan, is the one who fought to a stalemate with Boba Fett. It makes it even worse. Like, they really, in their attempt to make Boba Fett fire, they made him trash, bruv. So, like, let's just sort that out, bruv, because then you could just be like, Boba Fett was rusty that day. That's a whole different thing. Do you know what I'm saying? That's something we can get behind and believe, innit? So, I think that I would like ironed out. But yeah, man.
I think that would also kind of like make him more dangerous as well.
100%.
Because like it's very subtle what they're doing with this season. The Mandalorian's coming up, but like they're becoming very, very dangerous to the Empire right now because numbers and stuff like that. And maybe that might even tie it back to like why we had to get rid of these men from the past. Like these men are too much. Like
100%.
they get too big, bro. And we're trying to run the Empire, the Galactic, bro. Gotta get rid of these men first.
It's just interesting, man. Bare cameos this episode.
Yeah.
Bare cameos.
I like the episode, but it did like I'm glad that it kind of came back for like to the whole point that they came in. Because at first, when they were going to the commander, then they went to the people that say Hire spoken, it felt kind of like a side quest. I was like, oh, the episode's good. I'm enjoying, like you're saying, seeing Jet Black. Don't know about Lizzo. And Christopher Lloyd, I'm like, rotted. Like, exactly, like, good seeing his man there. And then just, even, like, the whole chase scene. And then, I think when he went to the bar, like, them feeling like a buddy cop kind of episode. Like Raven said, like, them, man, butting heads on ideas of Jin being like, androids, bro. Just, nah. And then Bo-Katan's like, I can't remember what she said, but it does feel like more, she's about, basically, like, people. Not just people, but, like, it's just, say, sentient beings or whatever. And that I find like very interesting. But yeah, the episode, it felt like the other one where they were looking at the scientist and the person that was still inside.
It was slow. It was slow.
It just felt a little bit like that, but decent still.
Yeah, man. It's interesting because I think we've been getting such high-paced, high-action, octane episodes that when we get a slower one, it feels really slow.
Yeah.
Even if it's just at parts, like, there's like a 5-minute segment for this that felt like it was 20 minutes. And then the rest, it kind of just flows nice. So it's like, I think with it like this, and I think this is part of it being chapters, part of it all being one long cohesive story, you're going to just get, there's a couple episodes where it's just like, So, get me. But I think that's probably the biggest issue just with this episode in general, is just some of the pacing, get me. But like I said, they tie it back at the end very well to bring you back like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, we're good.
And then the action also, like the fight scene was actually pretty good as well.
Super legit, bro.
So,
get me, man. So, what ratings you got for this episode?
I'm giving it a 4, man. I'm giving it a 4. I like the lessons that Din passed it on to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan just came into the room trying to chat to these people. Someone that she's never been interacted with. Din comes in, yo, I have spoken. And then later on, he breaks it down to her how to interact with these people. This is what I love about these type of episodes. The little gems that's only making things bigger, is making the universe bigger. Bro, we just been introduced to a new planet. The way people move, like, bro, just connecting it. We're making this bigger, which to me, I can only imagine later on in a Star Wars movie, this is the kind of stuff that we'll get. Like, you're making it bigger, so when we tap into the movies, it's already there. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a 4 for me, man.
Me gets a solid 3.5. Like, if it wasn't for, like, good dialogue and, like, this good set pieces, then it probably would have been a dull episode. But like, I like in the relationship between Din and Bo-Katan. I like the way that they are kind of going around, even just seeing other worlds, the way they look like the set pieces for me just look absolutely fantastic. The cameos were kind of out of
whack.
Yeah, I was like, were they necessary? Probably whatever, but like, just good characters in general. Just and even seeing like the people we saw from season 1, seeing them come back to say that the word about I've spoken, that's pretty legit. And yeah, just the whole like the questions about the robots in general. Obviously, like we was like, oh, are they sentient? Are they this and that? There's that whole mystery. That was actually
you
pretty
love that
sick.
kind of stuff, innit?
Yeah. So it was reminding me of like iRobot, Atomic Heart. Like, are these things gonna take over? Super, super sick. But yeah, man. Like, if it wasn't like I say for pacing issues and making it feel like why we here until like towards the end of the episode, we got a bit higher. But yeah, like Bryce
Dallas
Howard, yeah, just legit. I want to see her do a movie or something now. To be honest, these guys, bro, these episodes feel like mini movies to the point where it's like, can we, Rick? Bro, like, what?
I'm here for it, man. Listen, I'm going to go with Sam, man. I'm on a 3.5, like, super legit episode as usual. But with the level that they've been setting in the previous episodes, the pacing hurts here. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like one cameo is enough per episode.
Like, Christopher would have been enough.
Yeah, he definitely would have been enough. Them pushing it to not 2, but 3. Do you know what I'm saying? And 2 of them being in a relationship, which almost made that every time they was on screen almost so comedic, I couldn't take it seriously to a point. It kind of bothered me just a little bit. And then almost the droids not turning out to be sentient was kind of disappointing, even if it was just the one that they killed. Because even the way it runs away does not run away like a droid. It runs away like someone trying to escape. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of character in that robot's run. Like, you know, bruv, there's fear in that robot's run. So it's just like, I don't know if you, man, are just hinting at something and we're going to get it later. But yeah, man, this episode's going to get a 3.5. Still super legit. We know you guys are loving it. Jump in the comment section below and let us know what your rating for this episode is. Bo-Katan for president, all of that. Where we go in next episode. How's this all going to end? And yeah, man, what Mandalorians broke out Gideon. The thing is, it could still be them and have been paid for it, because remember, they just get paid to do jobs. But let's say it's not them, then we've got another band of Mandalorians or Beskar users out there that we're going to have to get involved with. So, more questions that need answers, ladies and gentlemen. But the question that I'm asking you is, have you subscribed to the channel? Have you hit the thumbs up? And have you pressed the notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop a banger? And after you've done all that, have you gone over to patreon.com/thecybernerds and watched the whole reaction? Get me? Other than that, I'm J1 for the Cyber Nerds.
Revenue GS.
Sam, Mr. Blitz Tech.
See you next time.
Peace.